Tonight on Joy News Prime, it is official. President Akufo-Addo signs E-levy bill into law. Expect to pay tax on electronic transactions from May. We have details for you. Chief State Attorney Evelyn Kilson claims the founder of defunct Capital Bank, William Atoesian, and businessman Dr. Tetenete dishonestly took 130 million cedis from the Capital Bank. And a little later as well, we'll tell you why simply looking into the eyes of a sex worker will draw you in and leave your pockets dry.
I have a place that I can go. There are going to little things I will do. I can rub my powder, rub my honey, my cream, my oil. Yeah, to even make a guy if you are passing, only you're looking.
Economist expresses worry about the passage of E-levy, saying it will increase the cost of doing business here in Ghana.
To exist objectively, it's supported by the IMF and others, that Ghana on the average loses between 3 to 5% of our GDP to exemptions alone. If you look at the mathematics, even with current GDP numbers, we are losing from 15 billion Ghana cedis to 25 billion Ghana cedis.
And in sports, assistant Black Stars coach George Boateng has revealed why the technical team changed the team's formation before the second half of the second leg of the 2022 World Cup playoff against Nigeria.
The Nigerian team was pushing more, and then Otto said, George, Chris, Didi, let's do it. We have only one game. This is it. We won't get another chance. Let's do it.
And don't forget that we are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Stay for details. Well, tonight, a heated debate in Parliament over what the minority describes as the extreme partisanship of the clerks at the table. Now, a furious Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak, who raised the concern over the alleged absenteeism of the 8 NDC MPs, accused the clerk of being partisan and deliberately inciting Ghanaians against the said NDC MPs. The Minority Whip, however, demanded that the error be rectified with immediate effect.
We just want to sound caution to our clerk and his team. It is unjust, and the clerk must sit up, because knowing the day and the difficulty of that day, you should have been interested yourself, personally, going through to make sure that everything was captured properly. But unfortunately, you failed to do that, and you failed this house. And now you have failed our colleagues and members of Parliament, whose names are not being bandied around as people who are being absent. Mr. Speaker, this is very hurting. Absolutely. And our preference would have been this vote and proceedings to be reproduced. I'm very, very disappointed in the clerk at table, the deputy clerk and the clerk, for this kind of poor performance that is reflected very poorly on the minority side. So, Speaker, we can only hope that they will up their game and do what is right and stop the partisan behavior that they are sitting there and they are doing.
But in a sharp response, the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Penyumakin, challenged the claim by the minority, arguing that it is unacceptable to describe the clerk as partisan. He asked the House to expunge from the records the accusations against the clerks.
Register your protest, but don't add the clerk, because it is unfair for him, because he cannot speak. Mr. Speaker, if somebody has gone to court and now wants to look for evidence to support his case, that person should let us know. Mr. Speaker, this is a house that follows procedure. Mr. Speaker, if you've gone to court, you've rushed to court, and you are now looking for evidence so that answer will be called for your debate and order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have read in between the lines. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, you've rushed to court. You are now coming to look for evidence by attempting to blame the clerk at table, blaming everybody, saying this and that. Mr. Speaker, we are here as leadership to guide proceedings and assist, Mr. Speaker. This is what we have. They should not attempt to indict Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what they are doing is to indict you. That is what they are doing now. Mr. Speaker, they are trying to indict you. They are indicting you and the clerk. Mr. Speaker, because these have your name. What we have here have your name that you are producing. It's not Chairman Sabonsu, it's not Harun Egisu, but Mr. Speaker, it's the clerk and the Right Honorable Speaker, the head of this Parliament.
Well, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has revealed that the Chieftaincy Minister Ebenezer Kojokum was within the precincts of Parliament during last Tuesday's proceedings. This is after the Northern MP Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa raised objections to the name of the Ahanta West MP registered as present during Tuesday's proceeding. The ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee argued that the said MP was not present in the chamber. The Speaker of Parliament observes that the bedridden MP was brought to Parliament in an ambulance and was within the precincts of the House.
He's been marked as present. We all know the situation. We have been praying for him and wishing him well. I do not believe that he was here. At least before we walked out, he wasn't here. He's my very good friend. I know him very, very well. And I continue to pray for him and wish him a speedy recovery. But Mr. Speaker, he wasn't here. So our records must reflect that he was not in the chamber.
You didn't listen to me.
No, Mr. Speaker, I listened to you. I'm saying that I didn't see him in Parliament. I'm not aware that he was in the precinct.
No. Initially, that was what you meant.
Yes.
But when you specifically said he was right here on the floor.
Yes, but
then that's when I came and said,
yes,
listen to
yes, Mr. Speaker, I was going to elaborate further.
On the floor, you were going to
No, I wasn't done. I was making the point that in the chamber, I didn't see him. And when we stepped out, we didn't see him at the precinct.
You are a lover of social media.
Yes.
And I'm sure you watch the social media and all the clips.
Yeah.
And I myself saw how he was brought in the ambulance. In your submissions on the floor,
yes,
a lot of your members acknowledge the number that was present on their side.
Yes, 136.
And the one that you acknowledge that was not present was only Honorable Adjoa Safu. That a number of your members' contribution on the floor today.
But the Honorable Ahmed,
please. Don't belabor the point.
Well, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has directed the Table Office to officially indicate that the question for the approval of the adoption of the Finance Committee's report on the E-levy during last Tuesday's proceedings was put after the minority staged their walkout. This follows the omission of the minority's boycott from Tuesday's voting and proceedings. The minority argues that this omission was a deliberate attempt by the clerk's office to conceal evidence that may be used by the minority to challenge the approval of the levy after an earlier ruling by the Supreme Court. On the floor of the House, Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Penyomaki insisted that the filing out of the minority did not affect the required numbers to take a decision, arguing that some of the NDC MPs were still in the chamber at the time the question was put. But the Speaker ruled that the question was put after the walkout. Here are excerpts of what transpired in the House today.
Transfer Levy Bill 2021 accordingly read a second time. Just in between the 7 and 8, that's where our walkout needs to be recorded. But that's the state at which we stage our walkout, and it has to be captured appropriately. Actually, it should come before question put and motion agreed to. Because the walkout happened before I put the question and the motion agreed to. That is the appropriate position for it. So Table Office kindly correct the records accordingly. Majority Deputy Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, just a little clarification. My respected colleague, the Minority Chief Whip, indicated that they walked out at a certain time. and you clarified the position by saying that the walkout was actually announced before the vote, the question was put. That is correct. What I just wanted to put on record was that although the announcement was made by the minority leader on the walkout, however, the question was put at the time they were proceeding out. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, that's and Mr. Speaker, we don't need to split heads on this matter. Mr. Speaker, we don't need to split heads on this matter. If since they are at the Supreme Court and they say they will take the audio visuals and the videos and everything, when they get there, the Supreme Court will watch. Yes. Or whatever. I won't fight you over this. But I am saying that at the time the question was put, some of you were still in the chamber walking out. You were moving out. You were carrying your books. You were packing. But I'm not contesting. It doesn't change the issue. It does not. The issue is that at the time you announced the walkout, the question had not been put. And Mr. Speaker is right. However, your walking out was not instantaneous. It took time. So eventually when the question was put, some of you were still in the chamber. Many of them. If you are challenging me, the video will speak for me. Mr. Speaker, that is all.
Is the essence of this submission. You are a leader. You heard me expatiate on these issues. As to when you talk about attendance. So why are you raising this? I actually put the question after the walkout. That is different from attendance to Parliament. They walked out. I am clear in my mind what I do in this house. And I can defend myself anywhere, even in the International Court of Justice. The fact that they walked out did not erase the fact that they were present in Parliament. Just the same way, when you walked out and we came here and continued, the issue of quorum was raised by this side, and that is quorum to conduct business, which needed 92. And that's why I made them count. We should have got 92, and we got more than that, 137. And so that press conference that you held and said we did not form a quorum was said in error of the law. The same thing that you are trying to, don't repeat it. Be guided by this. It's not Supreme Court ruling. That is the ruling of the Speaker, and we go by it. Page 10 are directed that the correct thing be done, and the correct position for it is before the question was put and motion agreed to.
Well, I say on the E-levy, it's official now. President Akufo-Addo signs the approved E-levy into law. Now, Joy News actually understands that the president signed the bill as soon as it hit the table after a controversial approval of the tax measure. E-levy will be operationalized as a revenue measure across the country. The minority insists the passage of the bill was done illegally and has since filed a suit at the Supreme Court, asking the court to declare the approval as now void and of no effect. The minority has meanwhile been reacting to this latest development. According to the minority spokesperson on defense, James Agalga, President Akufo-Addo assenting to the bill is an attempt to compromise the charges. The minority, describing the move as unfortunate, argued that the president ought to have hastened slowly until the determination of the suit before the Supreme Court filed by the minority. Let's take you to some other stories. The chairperson of the Roads and Transport Committee, Kennedy Osei-Nyako, is fighting off claims that President Akufo-Addo misled the nation during the delivery of the State of the Nation address. President Akufo-Addo said his administration has constructed over 10,000 kilometers of roads since 2017, a claim the ranking member on the Roads Committee, Kwame Gavins-Agboja, describes as false.
And if you check from the data, they say it's critical roads 2,167, cocoa roads 4,853, town roads 567, asphaltic overlay 1,500, sino hydro 441, and if you add all of them, it's about 11,111 kilometers. That is information provided to you in May 2021. That is the last State of the Nation, last state meet the press of the Minister of Roads and Highways. Is that not the case? And out of that, in an answer to the question filed by a member on the floor, the Road Minister, I think January or February this year, provided data on 4,200 kilometers of road he claimed have been completed. On that list, my brothers and sisters, are only 68.5 kilometers of new roads. The rest are pothole patching, sealing, graveling, and re-graveling. As we speak, the presidency or the Ministry of Roads and Highways does not have the data to back the 10,800 kilometers of roads that the president mentioned. The truth is that it was probably a slip of tongue. Instead of them coming to the people and say, look, that is not what we meant. Actually, what we meant by 10,800 kilometers are roads under contract. My chairman, the respected chairman, came and told you that he's got data on 6,000 kilometers of roads completed. How do you call it? By the Cocoa Board alone. My brothers, Cocoa Board, as of the time the minister was reporting in his, meet the press, had contracts worth the contract to the tune of 15 billion, about 4,800 kilometers. So by May last year, the minister says there are 4,800 kilometers of project under construction. However, in April or February, March 2022, the government has gone to complete 6,000 kilometers out of the 5,000. Does it make sense to you? I'm happy that some of your organizations have fact-checked them. Ignore my chairman totally. He hasn't got any data. In fact, if anybody has got data on completed projects in this country, who do you think will have that data? The road minister. The road minister doesn't have that data. So ignore what my chairman is saying. In fact, he went and took a portion of the meet the press, which suggested that there are 4,800 kilometers of road under construction and by the Cocoa Road, which is a fact. But we are talking about the emphatic statement. We have completed 10,800 kilometers. My brothers and sisters, I'm grateful to you. Some of you have already disregarded the president's comment. It's a slip. He should come out and say that what I meant was that we are talking about reshaping and everything which are that. But in any case, if you do reshaping and other things, is that an achievement? Is that completed? It is not.
Chairperson of the Roads and Transport Committee, Kennedy Osei-Nyako, insists the statement by the president is accurate.
As a chairman of the committee, I have the right and the privilege to respond to the comment or the allegation being made or put out by my colleague. First of all, this country has a total road network of 78,402. That is what the MPP government inherited. That is the total road network. Out of this total road network, we have only about, during the time we took over, only 33% of this 78 was paved road, or let's say a good road. What it means is that the rest, almost about 67% of it are all bad road. The Ministry of Roads and Highways have categorized each road or its programs or its activities in several categories. So we have roads that are being undertaken by feeder roads, that also undertaken by urban roads, and that undertaken by highways, Ghana Highways Authority. Among all these three categories is feeder road, which has the largest network, almost about 48,000 kilometers. The president's statement or figure of 10,875 that was put out is an accurate figure.
Well, we know that the Roads and Highways Ministry has released a statement that seeks to justify President Akufo-Addo's claims that his administration has constructed over 10,000 kilometers of roads since 2017. Fortunately, Kweku Asante with the Joy News team joins us now via Zoom with more details on this. Kweku, first of all, give us clarity on the actual construction that has been done so far. Is it 10,000 kilometers as the president is indicating?
All right, Blessed. So the explanation that has been offered by the Ministry for Roads and Highways points to the fact that when the president spoke, what he meant by 10,875 roads having been constructed has to do with not just new roads that have been constructed from scratch, but also road constructions that has to do with pavement, among other issues. And so those are the main issues that the explanation is being offered. That it's not just new roads that have been constructed from scratch, but also roads that had some issues that have been constructed. Let me read to you some of the data the Ministry for Transport has been providing. It says, over the past 5 years, a lot of investment had gone into both paved and unpaved roads to improve riding quality on our roads. The 10,875 kilometers of roads have been on both paved and unpaved roads. These interventions have resulted in the improvement in the road condition mix, as indicated in the earlier stated period. So they come down to a table where they provide that about 4,263 projects were constructed between 2017 May to 2021, and also about 50 kilometers of road constructed between June and December 2021, and up to February 2022, up to 4,910 roads had been constructed, a total of 10,875, seeking to give credence to the speech of the president. But the key explanation here is that the president was not only referring to roads that have been constructed from scratch, but also roads that have, say, potholes, that have, say, issues that have already been paved, but had needed maintenance and government work on it. Was
that the exact impression that we got when the president was delivering the State of the Nation address?
Well, that wasn't it. Because if you listen to, let me quote what the president said. He says, Mr. Speaker, it is in the road sector that we have registered the greatest infrastructure achievement. I know that the word unprecedented is often used with careless abandon in our public discourse. Some 10,875 kilometers of new roads have been constructed in these past 5 years. Emphasis on new roads. And unless new roads means something else, when the president said that government had constructed new roads, it meant that these roads have been constructed from the scratch. But this explanation that we are getting from the Roads and Highways Ministry is obviously departing of a sort from what the president said to explain that, no, we haven't said we have constructed roads from the scratch, but we've constructed or we've paved some roads, they have issues that we fix it. But what the president said that they had constructed 10,875 roads, new roads. This statement does seem to suggest that that might not have been accurate, because what they have done is to amend some paved roads.
Right. Thanks, Kweku, for the update. Chief State Attorney Evelyn Kilson claims the founder of defunct Capital Bank, William Atoyesian, and the businessman involved, Dr. Tete Nete, dishonestly took 130 million cedis from the Capital Bank. She says this money was actually used to set up a defunct sovereign bank. The two, together with former managing director of Capital Bank, Odonko, and some others, have been slapped with 26 charges, including stealing various sums in excess of 200 million. Now, court correspondent Joseph Akable has a wrap of Thursday's proceedings.
The state alleges that the actions of William Atoyesian, Dr. Tete Nete, and Reverend Fitzgerald Odonko led to the collapse of the bank. Documents filed in court states that between June 2015 and November 2016, the Bank of Ghana provided a total sum of 620 million cedis as liquidity support to Capital Bank to enable it meet its capital adequacy ratio. Mr. Essien is alleged to have been aided by Fitzgerald Odonko to transfer a sum of 120 million cedis of the liquidity support to All-Time Capital Limited. The three individuals are said to have caused a transfer of 100 million cedis to a company which had Mr. Neti as its managing director. Mrs. Kelson on Thursday cross-examined Dr. Tete Neti. She accused him of being part of the plot to dishonestly take money from Capital Bank to set up Sovereign Bank. Dr. Neti disagreed. Mrs. Kelson pressed on, insisting that Dr. Neti was well aware that the said shareholders of Sovereign Bank, including himself, did not provide any money to set up the bank. She stated that documents made available to the court clearly shows Dr. Neti was in the know about these transactions. The accused person disagreed yet again. He insisted that in his case he did not provide any money as a shareholder because he held the shares on behalf of Mr. Essien. He continued that he, together with Mr. Essien, signed documents confirming that he held the shares on his behalf. He concludes that these documents were not in his custody because Mr. Essien refused to provide him copies of the documents. The case has been adjourned to April 7, 2022, where Reverend Fitzgerald Odonko, the former managing director of Capital Bank, is expected to open his defense.
And thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Still to come, we'll tell you why simply looking into the eyes of a sex worker will draw you in and leave your pockets dry.
I have a place that I can go. There are some little things I will do. I can rub my powder, rub my honey, my cream, my oil, yeah, to even make a guy if you are passing, only you're looking.
There's more after this break. Now, a planned further 15% increase in transport fares has been put on hold by the Ghana Private Roads Transport Union. Speaking shortly after a meeting involving players in the commercial transport industry, Public Relations Officer of GPRTU, Imoro Abbas, said they were informed by a reliable source in the course of the meeting that there will be a reduction in prices of fuel tomorrow. He says the percentage of the reduction of prices at the pumps will determine the percentage of GPRTU's increase in fares.
For the public information, we are not happy with upward adjustment in lorry fares because we know it affects everything across board. But what else can we do? We have no choice. Without fuel, we can't run transport. And we are into serious commercial business if we don't increase our lorry fares alongside the upward adjustment in fuel prices. We cannot get to where we want to. So we are sorry. Well, we are not happy with that, but we have no choice. We have to do that to survive, to make sure we continue serving Mother Ghana. We did indicate that henceforth we are going to go strictly by the threshold of 10% upward adjustment. We saw it coming when we did indicate in the press release. Lo and behold, we are currently above 30% in the fuel increment. We decided today to call this press conference and announce to the whole nation that effective from a date we would have announced, which we have just postponed. We are in the middle of the meeting when we heard tomorrow there is going to be a reduction of fuel prices. Hence, we have suspended our press conference pending tomorrow's reduction. We have to look at how much is going to be reduced from the fuel to inform us on how much we should also come up with. So we thank you very much for responding swiftly to this call. We strongly believe anything after tomorrow's announcement will fall on you, and we strongly believe you will respond as positively as you did today. We thank you very much. This has affected our projection. Definitely, we are going to come out with upward adjustment in lorry fares, but it has affected our projection. The actual percentage that
we have projected to come out with. Should we come out today and tomorrow there is a fuel reduction? We are not saying when we come out with whatever we are going to come out with and there is a petrol reduction, then we are going to revisit it. That's not what we are saying. But we've heard there's going to be a huge difference, hence affecting our projection for today's press conference. So we'll give us some time after tomorrow.
So difference is a decrease or increase?
Initially, we had wanted to come out with 15% upward adjustment.
And now, if you love to walk the path of commercial sex workers with the sole intention of feasting your eyes on them, then you may be in danger. When commercial sex work slumps, sex workers admit they employ charms to attract even those who are unwilling to engage their services but have money on them. Simply looking into the eyes of a sex worker will draw you in and leave your pockets dry. Joy News' Latif Idris has been engaging a sex worker and has more in the following report.
Sex may be a deep expression of emotions, but on the streets, sex is a commodity. It is packaged, solicited, and bought by anyone who can afford it.
I want to talk to you about your business. Will you be ready to do that? Yeah, I'm a journalist.
To those who usually walk through the red light zones to feast their eyes on almost naked women, there is a danger. Becky, not her real name, explains this danger.
I can rub my powder, rub my honey, my cream, my oil.
Or you came to start here in Ghana?
No, I was in Nigeria before I came to Ghana.
Becky has been on the streets for the past 3 years. She delivers sex to those that are willing to pay for it. But she also made this revelation.
If you do person fine today, he can bring his friends to you. So yeah, this girl, she is very, very good. But if you didn't do you fine, I'll say yes, you're my customer like this. I do you fine today. If you come to me, I always make you fine. And the next time you come, I didn't do you well. You can't be mad at me. So understand. Yeah. Say yes, maybe I'm not feeling fine. That's why I didn't do it. Maybe I'm feeling pains. That's why I didn't do you fine. But most of them doesn't understand.
How much do you spend keeping yourself tight so that customers keep coming? Because you have to be tight, right? To get
I know about that. I have a place that I can go. There are going to little things I will do. I can rub my powder, rub my honey, my cream, my oil. Yeah, to even make a guy, if you are passive, only you're looking to me to make it stop. And any amount of money I ask you to give me, you give it to me.
Is this, am I getting the sense that you just spoke about using a charm?
Yeah. After the woman make me start that, so I was so annoyed because I didn't want her to do it. So she was gonna push me to do it. Understand? So that's why I left the place where she can't go. I went to another place. So it was.
Now, the stroke unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital is calling on government to install at least one CT scan equipment in all regional hospitals across the country. Now, according to the head of the unit, Dr. Albert Akbalu, with a few hospitals specializing in treatment of stroke patients, many more people are expected to die as a result of stroke. He spoke at the National Stroke Survivors Day ceremony in Accra. Michael Ashele has the rest of the story.
There was a school-going child until the stroke, and since then he's had several episodes or events of stroke attacks.
Caleb is 14 years old. He is a sickle cell patient. He was later diagnosed with a stroke at an early age. His father, John Dido, says he has been doing everything within his power to cater for his son.
It hasn't been easy. It has been very challenging. You know, stroke recovery can be very confusing, very difficult, time-consuming, that needs a lot of patience before you can go through it.
Catering for his son is a full-time job. He lost it all trying to make ends meet with Caleb First his job and then his wife.
It's been over 11 years now since we've been fighting this battle. We've lost friends. Even his own mother had to buy out, and it has been very challenging.
Caleb's dream is to become a medical doctor someday.
I want to work again. You want to work again? So you not go to your Canada again? You not go to your Canada again? What to Canada? What Canada? But you tell me you want to go to Canada.
Stroke occurs when there's a blockage to the blood supply to the brain, preventing blood and oxygen from reaching the brain's tissues. Symptoms of stroke include trouble walking, speaking and understanding, as well as paralysis or numbness of the face, arm or leg. The Stroke Association Support Network held a National Stroke Survivors Day Symposium to highlight the challenges of stroke treatment and management. Head of the stroke unit at Kolebu, Dr. Albert Akpalu, says it is a worrying trend that more young people are getting diagnosed with stroke.
Now, what are the problems? We have stroke in the young. About 60% of our strokes are strokes below 55 years old, and these are people in their prime of life. So we need to change that narrative. What are the problems, or what's abnormal? It is abnormal because it's the reverse in the rest of the world. Stroke is supposed to be in elderly people.
He says the absence of specialized units in hospitals, inadequate number of CT scans, and being cash-strapped are major challenges.
So challenges: one, access to funds. NHIS does not support stroke in its entirety. NHIS will not give you a CT scan, so we need to change that narrative. Access to imaging facilities. We need one CT scan per region. I'm being very generous, but we need one CT scan per region. So numbers, everybody has to take care of themselves. We need to eat well. There's a diet called the DASH diet. Dietary advice to stop hypertension, stop adding salt to your food. When your wife cooks the soup, don't put your finger in it, taste it and add salt to it. If you see your face in the soup, then it's not a good soup. Skim the oil off. Eat lean chicken, remove the chicken skin. Eat more nuts, eat more vegetables. Ghanaian diet is a big bowl of rice and a small dot of protein. Change that narrative. Let's change that. Let's eat healthily. Let's walk more. Fuel has gone up, so let's walk more. Let's ride bicycles. It doesn't make you a lesser person to ride or to walk. Let's reduce the stress.
The association says it wants to embark on an ambitious project to set up at least one stroke unit in every district across the country. President of the association, Chief Dr. Ben Jabuni, called on government to assist realize that dream.
Once a stroke individual has been discharged, we come in and try and help them adjust into life in the community. So that is very important, and we are asking government to support the Stroke Association Support Network, Ghana, for example, to bring into reality these 275 stroke rehabilitation centers that we want to build, one for each constituency.
Treating stroke is capital intensive. John says Caleb is due for another surgery to ease his pain, but money is hard to come by these days.
So currently, Caleb has developed another hip dislocation and needs to undergo another surgery. In fact, the surgeon told me that if it's not because of the pain that he experiences, he would not like to take him through that procedure again, because it means they have to cut the thigh bone again. The more they cut, the shorter the legs become. And this hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. We've not been able to get the funds for us to go through the procedure.
Stroke is a preventable and treatable illness, but also fatal. These stakeholders can only hope help comes sooner than later to save more lives. Michael Ashani's report for Joy News.
And it's time to check out what's happening in the world of entertainment. Ibrahim Ben Bako is here. Ivy,
Yes.
Charlie, you're super. The things that go on here.
Yeah, there are a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. So, you know, there's been a lot of talk about the movie industry and whether we have a vibrant movie industry, if it is alive at all. But from the point of view of the head of corporate affairs at the MultiChoice, that is Niyama Dagodi, he believes that if there are conversations between the creatives and corporate Ghana, we will have a vibrant movie industry. Well, he said this at the NFA, that is the National Film Authority meeting corporate Ghana, and he believes that if there are conversations between the creatives and corporate Ghana, we will definitely have a vibrant movie industry.
I think it's an exciting time for the film industry to be able to have the Film Authority create such thought leadership opportunities for us to discuss as a film industry. And we haven't had such a vibrant film space, also because we are not talking amongst ourselves. And until we start talking amongst ourselves, then you find where people can leverage on each other's different potentials to be able to grow ultimately what we love to do. We're naturally creatives, we're all left brain people, but we need such leadership, thought leadership opportunities just to discuss our issues, and at the end of the day we'll be able to table something solid before investors, government and broadcasters and all, even other corporate institutions, just so as to be able to grow this industry as a whole.
Well, this is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to do, but I want to ask, what end?
I think we need to talk. We just need to talk as an industry. We have not had the thing is, because we do not collaborate as a people, we think that we are in competition with each other. We are not in competition. The most important thing is,
well, I guess he's saying the truth, right?
Yes. We need to collaborate. We need to have conversations. We need to know each other's strengths so that we can complement where we are supposed to. Now let's move our attention from the movie to the music. And Sarkodie has been talking. He was on Twitter Space, and the interview actually brought up a lot of things. Now, one thing he said is, as an artist, how consistency can play a key role in your life as a musician.
And obviously,
yes, that's what's happening.
Consistency, I guess.
Yes, consistency is the only premise for winning.
Obviously. I'm grateful. But that's all we have for you here on Joy News Prime. I'm Blessed Sugan. Log on to myjoyonline.com. We have updates on our stories for you there. Next is Prime Business. Stay with us.